Thank you. Okay. Okay. Welcome everybody. Once again, for those who didn't get the intro, my name is Cindy Knowles. And today we are doing spring herbal wellness because we are moving into spring. So with spring, we have life, new life, beauty, excitement. But the downside is that we have allergies with all the new life and the blooms. And these allergies actually plague us quite a bit. You know, some people, it makes them so sick that they can't get out of bed sometimes. And so allergies can be really bad and detrimental to our health. So we're going to talk about what we can use in terms of what you can forage to use to help your allergies so that it's cost effective. Well, it should cost you nothing almost. But so that you know and are equipped with what is around you and what you can use for what different things. So I'm going to show you how to make the different medicines and so forth. So the question is, what are seasonal allergies actually? It basically is your hay fever, or it's called rhinitis, allergy rhinitis. And that is basically a reaction to what is happening in and around you. Okay, so the common types are sneezing, eyes tearing, facial pain because of congestion, itchy eyes, itchy skin, sore throats, runny nose, post-nasal drip, fatigue, and sometimes anaphylaxis. So these things can be mild and also very severe. So it basically just also is triggered not just by the seasonal change, but it can also be geographical change, the change in plant microbiomes. Also other factors are carbon dioxide increase is a big factor. Temperatures that rise, that is also a big factor. So we know El Nino is coming. And so that is going to impact our hay fever if we do have allergies. And some that hasn't had allergies before might actually start getting allergies now. So all these outside factors actually impound the fact that we might be susceptible to getting allergies. And so how does it actually work within our bodies? So what happens is, say the wind blows, and pollen from the trees or the weeds or the plants or something is in the air. So you breathe it in. That then causes a response in your body. So your body mistakes it for something harmful. And then that triggers an antibody response. And then that antibody response is then manifested in the reactions that you have. So how it works is you smell or the pollen or something goes into your nose, and then an antibody production is triggered. So then the smell tells your brain there's a foreign object, but it's mistaken because there's nothing actually bad about it. Anyway, so it tells your body there's a foreign object, and then this antibody response happens, and then your body produces immunoglobulin, and this immunoglobulin then attaches itself to something called a mast cell, and this mast cell is then what activates your response or causes your response. So whether it's a runny nose or sneezing or itchy eyes or something, that is the pathway of what happens when you are smelling or when you are exposed to pollen or something that might give you an allergic reaction. And then that response is called a histamine response. So what then happens is you then start sneezing and your eyes become puffy, You start having maybe congestion in the area of your nose. So also what happens with inflammation is, inflammation, for example, in your sinus cavity, is that something irritates the tissues on the inside of your nose, for example. And that irritation then triggers a response in your limbic system, and the limbic system then sends a signal to that area that it needs to try and heal itself. So then it sends anti-inflammatories and mucus. Now your tissues start swelling because the anti-inflammatory response is happening, and that swelling causes the congestion and the blockage because the mucus has now also come. So the mucus comes to flush out whatever the issue is. But now because your tissues are swollen because of this anti-inflammatory response, the mucus gets stuck, and that is how congestion happens. So inflammation basically is any tissue in your body that is aggravated or irritated, and your body then sends an immune response depending on what the issue is, wherever it is. So most of our sicknesses, diseases and stuff like that is an anti-inflammatory response because something is affecting the tissues and your body is now responding. So that's basically how inflammation works. So the same thing happens with allergies. It's an anti-inflammatory response to whatever is happening that you are ingesting, that your body is now seeing as an alien, but technically there is nothing wrong with it. That's why it only affects some people and not others. Some people have weaker immune systems, so then their body sees it as an attack. Other people have stronger immune systems and they have no issues when there's pollen or anything that causes an allergy. Okay, so then you can have itchy eyes, and wherever your allergy manifests, that is the area that was targeted the most, for example. So some people even have breathing issues to the point where they can go into anaphylactic shock or asthma because now their respiratory vessels are now swelling up because of the inflammatory response, and now they're having issues. So there are weeds and plants that can alleviate all the different types of issues that you have. You just need to know what can help with what. So nature really helps us in an amazing way. For example, stinging nettle. Where's Natasha? Did she bring Natasha out? Stinging nettle. Stinging nettle has the ability to create a histamine effect. So basically, that triggering of the antibodies and the histamine activation, so to say, it stops it. So stinging nettle stops that whole first response of you smelling it, your body is creating a response to it because it's mistaking it for something else. That first process where your immunoglobulin is produced, that first process is stopped by stinging nettle.
It's not an anti-inflammatory.
It's also anti-inflammatory, but it also does that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is how stinging nettle can help. And then you get quercetin. So quercetin is found in quite a bit of fruits and foods. Onions is a very good thingy that contains quercetin, and quercetin stops the mast cell triggering. So it stops the reaction that happens in your body. So even if, for example, it created the antibodies to then cling to the mast cell to then have a reaction in your body, it stops the reaction from happening. So you might breathe it in, you might create antibodies, but you won't feel the effects in your, like no runny nose, no sneezing, no nothing. So quercetin incorporating that into your diet a lot can also help a lot with any type of allergy, not just pollen and so forth, any type of allergy that you might have. Because some people are allergic to different types of stuff.
Eva, my stance on garlic and ginger also for allergy.
Garlic might have a bit, but no.
So only onion.
Because you know the saying of garlic that is a good like in the morning, like eating a piece.
Yeah, but that's because garlic is antimicrobial. So
Oh.
antimicrobial means it helps with any type of problem in the body.
Okay.
And it's an antibiotic.
Okay.
So that's why garlic is good. So another thing is dark berries. All your dark berries contain quercetin, so eat lots of those also. And then local raw honey. The reason why local raw honey is good is because inside the honey is traces of the flowers that the bees, you know, ate on and pollinated and whatever. So those traces then become blockers for whatever the pollen might create in your body. So if it is, say for example, you live in the Cape Flats and fynbos honey you're consuming because the bees mainly ate all the fynbos and the honey was made from the fynbos. It has traces of those fynbos flowers in there that then counteract whatever pollen from those flowers might affect you. So local raw honey is also very good. I know it's a bit expensive, but it will also help a lot. Okay, so now plants that we use traditionally and indigenous plants and herbs and weeds. What we are lacking today is we have lost a lot of the traditional knowledge that people used for centuries to heal because Western medicine has come along. So now you get sick, you can take a pill, or you take cough mixture, or you put a plaster on, something like that. We run to Western medicine, which basically just stops the reaction, but it doesn't fix the root of the problem. So traditionally, people have used plants for healing for thousands of years, and it worked because it worked alongside our body and it went to the root of the problem. So when you have the root of the problem fixed, you then won't be sick and you won't need to put a plaster on it because now you're fixing the problem, so the problem won't occur anymore anyway. Unfortunately, a lot of our diseases and issues that we have in our body are lifestyle diseases due to what we eat, how we live, what we don't do. And so we go on the medication for these things and then we stay on the medication. We don't get better with diabetes, for example, or high blood pressure. We just stay on it for life. But if you change your mindset and you change how you do things, you now start changing what you do and what you eat and how you do things. So now you have a more holistic approach to your lifestyle. So diabetes and high blood pressure can be reversed if you just do certain activities and if you eat certain things and you just change the way you do things, it can be reversed. So we don't need to be stuck on medication for the rest of our lives. We can reverse it just by going back to the old traditional way of how to do things. So traditionally used plants are stinging nettle, like I explained before, because it supports the whole allergy response system by cutting off the first part of when you breathe in the allergy. It also contains a little bit of quercetin, which also then helps with the second part of what happens to the response with the mast cell and the reaction. So it is a twofold thing, but it mainly helps with the first part of it. So it's also anti-inflammatory, and it also is an antioxidant. So it's very good for a lot of different stuff and very good to incorporate into your diet. If you, for example, are having a histamine reaction, maybe you're walking somewhere and the pollen is now just hitting you and you're sneezing or you can't see, and or your chest is closing up, whatever. Take a piece of stinging nettle, but you roll it on the inside. Say if this is the leaf, the stings are at the bottom. So you will then roll it on the inside so that you are rolling up the stings. And then you chew that. That will then stop everything of the allergic response that you might be having. If you got stung by stinging nettle, it creates a histamine response in your body. So now you are sore and you itch, but it's making your body produce that responsive action to something that is happening. So for example, if you have arthritis and you sting yourself, it will pain and sting, but it will heal the arthritis that's happening because of the response that it is creating in the body. So the sting of the stinging nettle has the same effect that an allergen or pollen or something would have in your body. So stinging nettle can be a cause and it can be the cure.
I have a question. So they're always speaking about the nettle leaf tea. So this is the same plant but not the same part of the plant.
Nettle leaf tea is the same part of the plant
Oh.
because it's the leaf, but you can also drink the seeds. The leaf is good for your whole body and all different types of issues in your body because it's packed with a lot of nutrients. It has quite a bit of the nutrients and minerals that our bodies need to get out of food. So incorporating stinging nettle into your diet is a very good thing. You can have it as a tea, you can make stinging nettle cake, you can do all kinds of things with it. And then you can also use the seeds. The seeds is mainly used for diabetes because it helps with your diabetic. It's a whole intricate thing and I'm going to take too much time to explain that, but it helps with diabetes. So the different type of the plant helps with different things, but overall stinging nettle leaf is extremely healthy for you, and especially if you have allergic reactions to a lot of things. The next thing is plantain. So this is what we discussed inside. This is the plantain. This is the ribwort plantain. So as I mentioned before, the back has these little ribs on it. So that's how you can identify that it is the ribwort plantain. Now plantain also has the big fat round one, and that one you use for respiratory problems. Plantain is also in the family of the banana. So the thin ribwort one you use mainly topically for skin issues. The big fat one you use for respiratory issues. But both of them can be eaten and both of them you can use interchangeably. So just the one has more of the active ingredients to help the skin and the other one is more for the respiratory system. So plantain is anti-allergic, it is antihistamine, it is anti-inflammatory, it helps calm coughs, it helps calm you, and it helps calm whatever allergic reaction or effect you might be having, and it protects your mucous membranes. So that's what plantain does.
What is saying it? You need to put but
Yes. So you can use plantain like you would spinach. You can saute it, you can use it in stews, you can drink it as a tea. It's up to you how you want to use it. It's got a lot of minerals and nutrients in it, so it's very healthy to consume. There was a story of a lady. She lived far in the mountains and she couldn't get to a doctor, and her child was busy having serious respiratory issues and struggling to breathe. And then she just made a tea out of plantain, and it helped the child's respiratory issues. So it's okay for children to also use it. Now, those are not indigenous because they are found globally. The indigenous herbs and weeds are Artemisia afro, wilde als, or African wormwood. So you know our grandmothers and great-grandmothers always used to drink wilde als, and it tasted so terrible because it's good for almost anything. And this is a small leaf, but this is basically how it looks. And at the back, it's more like a white type of look. Okay, so dark green and then white. Wilde als mainly helps with respiratory issues. This is now for allergen effects. Mainly helps with respiratory issues. It helps unblock your nasal passages, so it helps with the decongestion as well. And it clears your nostrils and all the blockage that happens here. It is anti-inflammatory, so it will help with any type of response that you might have. But it's very good for colds, flus, bronchial issues. It's also anti-parasitic, so it can help with parasites. It's antiviral, so it can help with viruses. It's called nature's ivermectin. So because it basically does all of that as well. So this is a very, very good plant to have. It also can help as in your garden as a herbal pesticide. So you soak it in some water and you spray it on. It will help, deter some of the pests.
Sorry, what did you say the proper name of that one?
Artemisia afro.
What do you call it here? Wilde als.
Wilde als.
Or just talking about the old names.
Yes.
Artemisia.
I have no idea. I haven't spelled the name yet.
You always talking about the old names. Yeah, the morgan they used to put it in the net and put it in
Okay, the next thing is Cape mint. Wild mint. So it does grow everywhere, but people now, grow it in their gardens. It's not the long mint leaf, it's the round fattish mint leaf. I don't have a sample here now. And it's quite, it's not smooth, it's quite jagged. Okay, so it provides respiratory relief of every kind. One of the active ingredients is menthol. And menthol opens up the passages. So when you're inhaling menthol, you get this cold, cool sensation, and then you get that opening feeling. That's what menthol does. That is what is in peppermint. Oh, sorry, Cape mint. So Cape mint you can also use for any respiratory issues whatsoever. Also, if you have some headaches or migraines, it will also dilate your capillaries. It also helps with nasal congestion and coughing. And when you use it for headaches, you need to put it by your temple. It will then give that cooling effect, but it will also be dilating your blood vessels, because one of the main reasons that you feel the pain with headaches is because your capillaries or your blood vessels are restricting. So when you put your finger here and you have a headache, you feel that throb because it's struggling to come through, it's not flowing freely. So when that happens and you feel that throb, you can put some peppermint on there. You can use essential oils. Peppermint is the one. Peppermint and tea tree oil are the two essential oils that you can use directly on your skin. Any other type of essential oil must never be used directly on your skin because it can cause liver damage. It must always have some form of carrier oil. Okay, never put it directly on your skin. Even peppermint oil, try not to use it directly on your skin. Mix it with something, some oil, sweet almond oil, coconut oil, olive oil, and then you apply it to your temples or wherever on the chest or wherever the pain may be. Okay, now rose geranium or pelargonium is this plant. And most people don't know that it actually has medicinal properties. And it grows almost everywhere. You see it very often. Right? And the leaves get big, the whole plant gets quite big. Okay, so this plant helps with coughs, with bronchitis especially. It's a gentle anti-inflammatory and it basically helps the whole respiratory tract. But you must be careful not to overuse it. The part you use is the root. So you need to take the root and then use that in your tea or whatever you're going to use for your issue, the root. The leaves have the oil, the rose geranium oil in there, and the oil can cause some allergies. And if used too much, it can be a bit detrimental. So try, even though it can help with issues, the leaves, try to rather use the root. But if you can't, then and it's an emergency, use it but sparingly, not too much. Okay? Then you get wild garlic. Wild garlic grows everywhere. You don't realize, you think it's just grass growing, but it's not. It is. So this is how a small one looks. This was too deep in the ground to get the bulb. But anyway, this is wild garlic. You can use the leaves and the bulbs. It's called Tulbachia. It is indigenous. It has the same properties that garlic has. It's just a lot milder. So you can use this in your food as garlic if you don't have garlic. It has the same taste, it's just not as potent and strong. Okay, so it's antimicrobial, which means it helps with almost anything. It helps with infections, with colds, with flus, with digestive issues, and whatever other issue you might have. So if you have nothing else, look in the garden. It grows along streets, pavements. This grew along our wall at home. It just popped up, a whole lot of them. And at first it looks like grass, but when it grows you'll see the leaves are more succulent. It also has the garlic smell. Can you pass this around? And I just want you to feel the leaves. It's slightly succulent. Don't damage this. I need to use this for the demonstration. Please bring it back.
Just want to ask you a question. Is it better to use it raw or to use it in your cooking?
For what do you want to use it?
For medicinal or your
Medicinal raw, but if you just overall general health, cooking. But preferably raw. And I'm going to show you how.
Okay.
Sour figs, seed failure. Okay, this grows everywhere. We normally know the fruit. The fruit is what lots of people love to eat. But the medicine is in the leaves. This is called Carpobrotus edulis. And you'll see it's a very succulent, fat, leafy type of thing. Very juicy. Okay, it's quite similar to aloe. It's also antimicrobial. So it helps with a lot of different stuff. Almost anything this can help with. Okay? But what is very good is it can help topically, like aloe, with sunburns, with burns itself, with any itches, any scrapes. You can use the juice of this. If you have a cold sore, nothing normally works except if you go to the chemist and get that blister little thingy, or Carmex. Carmex, I don't know where my Carmex is now. Oh, yeah. This little thing is very expensive. It's like 100 rand, maybe more. And this the main ingredient in here is lysine, and this they use for fever blisters, cracked lips, any lip issue. This contains the same thing. So if you have fever blister, cracked lips, cracked skin, any type of blister issue, use some of this. Okay, it has this lysine in it, which does the exact same thing. So sour fig is really amazing. It's also antiseptic. So if you get a cut or something, put this on immediately to clean the wound and to prevent infections. Then we have pineapple weed, which we discussed earlier. So this is how the small little flowers look. It looks like a little pineapple with white flowers around it. The leaf there was better, this dried out a bit. So this relieves headaches. It is anti-inflammatory, so any inflammation that you have in the body, you can use this for. It's antimicrobial, so it works for almost anything as well. Any issue you might have, you can make a tea from the leaves. And then it also has a calming and relaxing feel, and it also heals the skin. So whatever skin issues you might have, you can also use pineapple weed. And these little flowers you can eat, you can put it in salads and so forth. Then we have speckworm. This is speckworm. Most of you might know it. It's recently gained a lot of attention. So this is a carbon sequestrator, which basically means it traps carbon dioxide. It's really a very strong hydration plant. So if you are very dehydrated, eat one of these. It has a lot of it will rehydrate you completely, and it has a lot of the minerals and nutrients that your body actually needs to be hydrated and function well. So this plant you can eat as is. You can saute it, you can make jams with it, you can do. Last year we had World Kusista Day, and the indigenous plant that we used was speckworm. So some of the students infused it into the kusista, some of them infused it into the syrup, some of them made chutneys to go with it. So you can use this for any type of, well, a lot of different types of agro processing. It has a tart, tangy taste. So it's really nice if you like that type of thing. So you can just eat the leaves. If you're having an asthma attack, eat a few of these leaves